Okay, good evening, friends. More Conn Strobotuners. This one, I think, belonged to a school. A couple of these belong to schools. This is a later one. This is an ST-6. And paint's in pretty good condition. Some dust over here, and we got some markings. They painted their band information, marked it up good. Not a lot appears to have changed from the ST-1 way back when. This model should at least be 10 years newer. So probably 60s, maybe. The other one was definitely older, 50s. So what's the difference that I can tell from the outside between an ST-1 and an ST-6? Well, the ST-6 has a little plastic shield there so you can't touch the motor. And it has a plastic handle on top instead of the wood one like the old one did. It's a plastic handle instead of a wood one. Exciting. Yeah, who cares? Same type of Electro Voice ceramic mic. I did the 2-prong cord. This one does have a strain relief clamp thing in it instead of tying it in knots. Now, again, you'd think somebody just did a hack job and tied the other cord in knots, but I looked at like ST1s and 2s and 3s and all the early ones, they all just tied the cord in knots, so apparently maybe UL got on their case, I don't know. So I fired it up. It initially did work for a little bit, and I was able to play around with it and see if it was tuning. We'll try to turn it on now. So there's the on. And then now we got the glow, and now we got the motor. And the motor's in calibrate mode. We gotta wait for it to come up to speed. And it looks like it wants to work. Okay, there. So the motor is looking like it was ready to be calibrated. The top trace is just chasing a little bit, waiting for me to set the speed. So it's feeling good. Now when I turned it off a few minutes ago, it kind of made an ugly sound. And then I went to turn it back on again and the motor decided to stop. So the tubes that drive the motor and that kind of stuff may be a little wonky. Let's just but what I want to do with these is the ST-1, which is very cool and kind of historic. A fellow YouTuber and fellow technician saw it and said, "That's so cool to have the original one. I'd love to buy that from you." And I said, "Well, okay, I've got a lead on some other ones. So I'm more interested in having an accurate, reliable tuner than I necessarily am the original one." Okay, so we're roughly calibrated. We're still walking a little bit, and it's still supposed to take more time to heat up. So let's put it in run mode, and it should adjust its speed. You can tell the mic's working because you can see it. So let's give it something to tune to. It's set to a C, I think. There should be a C for it. Okay, so either I don't have it calibrated or the C's a little flat, but let's try C sharp. Yep. D. And just for fun, my tone generator thing here, which is a Sabine tuner, it thinks it's 440. I set it to 441, it's dead in, so I'm like 1 beat off, I'm 1 cent off here. So we'll leave it at 441, let's try for D sharp. And then E. F. F sharp. G. And I haven't let the tubes warm up yet, so the odds of this working perfectly are not really that great. G sharp. A sharp, B, So that takes us around the circle, and we'll go back into calibrate mode and see. Yeah, it's not really walking too much. We're close. It's walking a little bit, but so this one's definitely a candidate for being serviced. I'm kind of annoyed that they painted their name on it instead of putting a sticker on it. So I'll try to clean up the paint a little bit. Cosmetically, this one looks really good. It has a couple of wonky things. The power switch feels like crap. It almost feels like it's stuck. It doesn't want to turn on and off, but it could probably be fixed through lubrication or just replacing it. It's a simple slide switch, nothing interesting there. These switches all feel good, but the gain pot did crackle, and you can see the neon light really flick at me when I was playing with it before, but it's not in operate mode, so you can't see it flick. Let's put it in there. Is it going to flick now? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you can see it is flicking. It's also me talking, but if I remain quiet when I turn it, you can see it flicking. So that just needs some cleaner. And potentially probably a cap job, but it's happy running again, but I'm going to bet that there's going to be some kind of cap issue. Now again, when I just went to flip it off, I heard kind of a boing, kind of a donk clunk noise inside, and that kind of disturbed me. So we're going to pull this one out of the shell. This one has the 2-prong cord. The other one I've got is an even later model, and it had a 3-prong cord. So we'll pull the chassis out of here and see if there's anything interesting about it. Well, just turning it around, we'll see that we have very similar design. Different plate here and Phillips screws rather than the flatheads that were found on the ST-1. So it goes along with the thing about it being newer. It looks like this sheet has fallen off. There was a piece of paper tape back here. It looks like it's fallen off, but it's still there. And we'll take a look at the tubes and see what kind of tubes we got. The ST-1 had RCA tubes labeled Conn. It's very likely these will be RCA tubes labeled Conn, but we'll find out. Okay, so at first glance it's pretty similar. The tube sheet here did fall off, but that'll go back on with a drop of glue. Couple changes from the ST-1 to the ST-6. First of all, this capacitor and other things here, they have tied this rope to the transformer and put a pad in here to make that more rigid so it can't move or twist. Probably to make it more rugged for people who had to carry it around. The tube complement, these look like RCAs, although this one is unusual because the flash is on the side. I'm not used to seeing that, but it looks like an RCA logo. Maybe it was something RCA rebranded, but it's got their stamp on it. That does not look like an RCA. 12AU7, 6AQ5, 6AQ5, 6X4, and then 5879, and then back here we have the 12AT7, which actually says ECC81, made by Amperex. So that is not an RCA tube. So one of these tubes is not RCA. But the other change, they put a bottom on the guts, and they encased, this is just cardboard, but they encased the motor assembly. So dust-proof, rust-proof, gunk-proof, I don't know. There's plenty of gunk here, you know, but we'll break into it and see what kind of caps and things are in it. But so far it looks like they have tried to improve their original design a bit, at least for durability. Okay, so now we're inside. These caps are a different manufacturer. They're all TRW. And it looks like they changed their construction style. They have this L-shaped ground bus running through the system. It's kind of cool. These are definitely vintage caps. TRW sort of sealed plastic. So this is kind of like, you know, they look kind of like the Astrons or the Black Beauties or something. I have no idea what kind of reputation these have. It looks like we have two different types of resistors. There's lots of the Allen Bradleys, and then we have these cream colored resistors. I don't think these are the ones that are normally referred to as roundies going out of tolerance. Those usually look closer to an Allen Bradley. They're the darker color. But we'll check into those a little bit. I think our biggest culprits, there's an electrolytic hiding in the corner there. I don't know if we can see that. Maybe we can. It's hiding in the corner. There's our power switches and our operate switch. Got an adjustment pot there. I think our biggest culprits, because just running this for 2 or 3 minutes to play with it and watching it flop on me, I think our biggest culprits are ginormous, not really ginormous, but our big electrolytic can caps. If I'm not mistaken, that's a double 50 over here, and this is a double 30. I think that's right. And this double 30, just after 5 minutes of operating, felt a bit warm to me. And usually what happens is when these things start to leak, they just start draining their energy away. The energy goes to ground, and then things stop working. So we'll look up what the general consensus is on those TRWs, and we're going to ask, because these are not super old. Not super old. You know, the Goodalls that were in the ST-1 were all original. This is still all original. And yeah, these can caps, I believe we can get the aftermarket replacements. JJ makes a very similar one. CE might make the Mallory knockoff too. The CE ones are really expensive, but the JJs are less than 10 bucks. So you might go that route, but let's see, how did these mount? Those are riveted on, so they have a bracket that rivets. So if it's a bracket that rivets, we're going to have to drill it out anyway. So the JJ would probably be a perfect thing, because the JJ just slides in and collars on. So I think that's probably what we'll do. We'll decide. But I need to double check what those are and check the schematic. But anyway, that's an ST-6, so if you wonder what the differences between a ST-1 and an ST-6 are, now you know. I have an ST-8 to look at too, but the ST-8 has appeared to have a little bit harder life. This one really cosmetically looks good. It doesn't look like it's gone through anything more than dust storms and somebody writing their name on it. But the face of it's in really nice shape, and everything's here and all that stuff. Alright, thanks for watching, and we will decide what to do with this baby. But whichever one of these I like the design of best, it will get completely refurbished and become our studio tuner for any recording session. Yeah. This one's a good candidate. Just for fun, I'll unearth the ST-8. We won't actually go through it, but we'll at least look at it and see what I'm in for. Okay, boys and girls, so this is the ST-8. When I bought these, I was told they were both ST-8s, but Buddy was wrong. The other one was an ST-6, but I can see when they made the stamper, they may have made it harder to tell. But the ST-8 is missing a knob, so you can't calibrate it even if you wanted to. There's some schmutz over there. I don't know if that's rust or what. It might have been dropped. Got a little bit of a bend on the hinge. That can be fixed. Okay, nothing too interesting here. All that stuff's there. But this one came stock with a 3-prong cord on it. I haven't done anything with this other than look at it, and you're looking at it in about as much detail as I have up to this point. But this EV715 ceramic mic has been with these all the time. Okay, so looking on the back of our ST-8, we have the Phillips screws, our 6 AQ5s, which I can see from here. I'm not going to take this apart yet. Those are RCA, but our 12AU7 is a GE, and the 6X4, it's probably an RCA. I can't tell at this angle. But this one looks to have more in common with the 6 than it did the 1. But they're generally similar. We'll break into this one. We'll put a knob of some sort on it and we'll test it. But every one of these has had a different handle. We went from wood to plastic with a metal bracket to this sort of, I don't know, looks like a Samsonite suitcase handle to me. So, anyway, this is an ST-8. Yeah, these guys labeled it up too. So, see, one of these has the name plate on it that I thought was funny. Yeah, there we go. R.E. Lee Band. Is that Robert E. Lee? Is this going to get a strike from YouTube for drawing from our country's history and mentioning the Confederacy on accident? If YouTube gives me a strike for that, that's totally crazy. Got a bunch of gluey junk down here. You can see this has probably been dropped and we're missing a rubber foot. So this one's going to need some more work than the 6 will. So it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it, but I think I'm more apt to work on the 6 first. Okay, well, Mr. Lee, your tuner will be fixed eventually when I get around to it, but right now we're going to go after this tuner, which used to belong to, one second, let's look at who it used to belong to. Thanks for the orange construction paint, boys. Let's see, this was S. Oh, here we go. The Malvern High School Band. So, I bought these out of Pennsylvania. Don't know where they've been before that, but so if you were part of Malvern High School, this was your tuner number 1. Man, I hope that paint comes off. Oh well, thanks for watching. See you soon.